Now I'll start recording. Okay, what does the word literal mean?
Literally.
Real.
Yeah, that's right. It really happened. And especially like recently, it feels like people say literally when they don't really mean literally. So
Had a heart attack.
yeah, I literally died last night. No, you didn't, because you're standing here talking.
Figuratively died.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, okay. Well, in math, we actually say words that mean what we say. So a literal equation is meaning very exactly what it says. Okay. This is the part that's going to be less obvious. Okay. But trust me, the coefficients
Is that E?
Yes. Sorry. Should I fix it? I'll fix it. Coefficient. COEFFICINENT. Sorry. Coefficients. I need an S on that. And constants. Have been replaced by letters. Now the weird thing here is literal means like it actually happened, right? But if I'm replacing numbers with letters, that seems backwards, doesn't it? Because now it's sort of vague. But what it means is that it's got to be taken literally as it stands, because you don't have the numbers to get it down to something, you know what I'm saying, like with a final answer. So that's what a literal equation is. And the reason you need to know is that the directions will refer to, or the problem will refer to the term literal equation, and that's all it is, okay? You may also see it, in fact, in all probability, we'll see it on the EOC, which is why we're going to spend time on it. I actually want you to ask when that happens, so thanks for that.
Should we start using the color now?
I'll let you know when.
All right.
Thank you, Jericho. Anybody else need another minute? Everybody ready?
I do.
Okay.
I have been writing for like 5 minutes. I messed up my binder really bad trying to get out of this paper.
So a good idea would have been to lay it on the floor, maybe? Because from here out, it's just examples. Now, I will tell you while we're waiting that this lesson, if you get frustrated with it and you feel like it's crazy, I honestly sort of agree with you, but it's a standard that you have to know how to do what I'm going to show you, so I'm going to show you. But there are other ways to do problems like this, and we'll talk more about that as we go through the semester. But for today, we're just going to muddle through it. Now, the beautiful thing about doing this process is that it kind of forces you to make sure that you're really clear on all the steps of equation solving. So that's why it's at the end of this chapter. And this is the end of the chapter. So tomorrow we will be reviewing, and Friday we will have a test. Okay? How many of you feel ready for that test? Good. That was depends on
Is anybody?
well, I mean up to this, not including this. You feel pretty good? Yes? All right, so apparently we're ready to move on. All right, so let's do it. We're going to start with guided practice 1 at the bottom of page 126 if your book is open, and if it's not, you can just look up here for the moment. Guided practice number 1, we are given a minus bx equals c
So when you meant that the letters are being replaced by numbers, is that what you meant?
No, I actually meant
Just
that.
meant by other letters?
Letters. Yes. This is our literal equation. It says solve the literal equation for x. So this is what we have. So we're going to solve for x. This is where you want your color. Okay? And what I mean by color is that now you can come back in, because what are we solving for? So go make x a different color. because that will tell your brain that's what I'm solving for. See how it makes it jump out at you? Okay? All right. What is in the way of x being by itself? B and A. All right. What is, and I want you to take a big deep breath before you answer this. What is A doing to that side? Adding. How do we know? Because it has the no symbol in front of it and it leads, and that's so you can think of that as like an added A, really, right? Okay, and that's why we put it up high, just kind of as a little reminder. All right, and then what is the minus B actually doing to the x? Multiplying, right? Because we think of minus B as like a negative B that's multiplying x, right? Why? Defend that for me, David. Why can I say that minus B is really a multiplier of x?
Because it's,
How could I rewrite it?
you could do
How could I change the minus to a plus?
minus plus by what?
Make it a negative.
It'd be plus a negative, right?
Right, yeah. That's
Please don't ever say same change again. Somebody should have been actually teaching you math back then
Miss
instead of
Cameron
phrases.
ingrained that into our brain.
Well, expunge it.
It's like that's all there is.
Yeah, but the horrific thing is you apply it to things it doesn't apply to, and it drives me berserk. All right, so we're sad mapping. So what are we going to do first? Get rid of the thing that was added.
correct.
So we're going. How do we get rid of an added thing?
Subtract.
So we're going to minus A from both sides,
So minus A.
and then we bring down the minus bx, and we get C minus A. Because I clearly can't subtract A minus C, can I?
No, because you have no idea who they
Okay.
actually are.
All right, and now I'm going to go back and make my X white again. That's the color I'm using up here. To remind myself of what? That's what I want to isolate, right? So if I want to isolate it, what am I going to do?
Divide by negative B.
Perfect. Divide by negative B.
This one be x equals.
And I get X equals C minus A
divided by
over
negative B.
negative B.
Oh. I remember we did something like this before.
Negative B.
It's really easy. Yeah.
I've never been good at this because I
That's
need
just the
like
answer.
I need to know what those letters equal.
take away.
Even from like 5th grade, I'm like I had such a hard time with this because I
We
didn't
did
know
this
what the letters.
It's okay. We'll practice it. We're not going to do tons with this. Just hang with me, okay? We'll do as many examples as you need. All right? And then it says use the solution to solve the specific equation. And then they give us that 12 minus 5x equals negative 3.
Okay.
So how does that correspond to the original equation?
A equals
12 is A. So in our little version that we got, so we're going to write x equals, and watch what I'm doing. I'm going to put parentheses everywhere I see a letter, kind of like we did the evaluate things. Remember that? Now we're just going to go fill in the blanks, okay? So 12 is A, so it goes where A was, right? Now look at it again and tell me
5 is
5 is
B.
B.
So it would be negative.
So that goes in the bottom. And
Negative 3.
negative 3 is C, so I'm going to put that here.
Plus you.
that helps.
Make sense?
Yeah.
No.
So what we're
Well, no, because now we're going to get the answer, right? So I've got negative 3 minus 12, which is what?
negative minus 12.
Over negative 5, right? What's the negative divided by a negative?
Positive.
And 15 divided by 5?
3.
3.
So that's like
Yep.
So what we doing is first
Thi-
we're gonna do the letters and then we'll change it. into-
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
That's
do it.
wait.
It is a lot easier.
To understand
Because you're not
Oh,
having to
we
think
got
about the
15 by
numbers, you're
adding
just thinking
negative
about the
3
letters.
and 12.
Okay, change.
I got it.
Let's do another one.
Yeah. She said don't say change.
Yeah, ever again.
well, let's save add versus subtract.
Cause since we had taught us that.
Both of
Both
us.
of what I
Yeah,
said.
don't miss we don't
You gonna cuss us out?
No, but I will keep telling you to stop saying it in front of me. Because unless you, okay, here's my question to you to answer that question. Do you want to stay, do you want to know when you walk out of here the last day, the same thing you knew when you walked in, or do you want to know more? Then listen to me. Then listen to me. That's all I'm saying. All right? Number 2,
I didn't get
AX equals BX plus C.
Oh my god, this got harder. I want to write this one out.
Wait, We don't know which one is. This is why I don't like it.
Oh, can I change
Because we
that?
don't know which one is less to kill.
The one that's on the right side is less.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
That is okay. Jalen's bringing up an excellent point, and it tells me she's already thinking about this because it's in the form of the x on both sides, right?
Yes.
And my strategy said get rid of the smaller one. You don't know which one's smaller. So now, if you want to get x by itself, you need to get all the x's together and the numbers on the other side, right?
Yes.
So I've already got the c, which is really a number because it doesn't have an x attached to it, right? I'm gonna leave c on the right, and let's subtract the b from both sides. Does that work? Okay.
Why would you do A on both sides?
Because then you'd wind up with 0, and then you'd have to move the c.
And it makes it all just 2 different.
You're just making it
Alright,
longer,
minus C.
smaller, not larger.
All right, now this is going to take a little bit of a stretch, but just go with me for a second. All right. Let's just say that.
AB. Okay, just listen to me.
Listen to me. If A was 8 and B was 2, what would my coefficient be?
7.
6.
6.
I don't know what the coefficient
Six.
is, so.
Okay, let me point at it. If A was 8 and B was 2,
It would be.
what would I put right here?
6.
6. Why?
Because.
8 minus 6. So watch. I want you to just don't write, but just watch for a second, and I'll wait this doesn't make sense. I can't subtract B from A, can I?
No.
So here's what I'm going to write. It would be whatever I get when I do that in front of X.
Oh.
I get that.
Oh, you see
You
all
don't know what it is yet.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Makes sense to me.
It makes
perfect.
sense.
All right. What do I want? What's the object of the game
The
here?
X
I'm
by
gonna get
itself.
X.
X by
I don't know
itself.
what X is.
So we're going to make X by itself.
So we're going to divide A minus B on both
Yes,
sides.
we are. You are awesome.
So 11 take away 6. X.
I'll tell you who's going to be hurting on this assignment is the people that don't write their steps. Because you are in trouble.
That's you.
This is where it catches up with you. Staying awake helps.
So, after you put the B on one side with the A, you gonna put it back on the other side so you get the X by itself?
Yes.
And now we just do the numbers.
And now what did you add numbers?
So whenever you get on the right, they'll show you it's right there.
Yeah, once you get X by itself, that was the game, right? Because it told me to isolate X.
Yes.
All right, so now look back at the pattern.
So 20 over, 20, C is 20.
Okay.
A is 11.
Okay, so what are we going to do? We're gonna write our expression with parentheses where the letters are. So we got a place to put them as we go. Y'all see how that helps you? Okay. So A is what?
A is 11.
So where does that go?
At the bottom right.
First
here.
one at the bottom, right? And then
B is 6.
B is 6.
That goes to the right bottom.
That's correct.
And C is 20.
C is 20. That goes to the top.
And so then I get,
11 take away 6.
I have 20 over, what's 11 minus 6? What's 20 divided by 5?
4.
Oh, 20. Oh, yeah.
4? All right, now,
So,
honestly, okay, go ahead, Jericho.
So basically, what we're doing is we just we're taking the variables and putting it easy way so that way when we put the numbers in there, it's easier. to find.
Yeah, you've already got your
Yeah,
answer.
20 over 5. Like, why would you?
Take away 11 minus 6.
Because it said 11 minus 6 on the bottom.
The A minus B in parentheses because
You can. It doesn't matter. I will also tell you for future reference, anybody in here planning to go to college at some point?
Jericho.
Okay. I hope everybody. Okay. Between now and college, guess what you have to do?
What?
You have to take the SAT. Have you heard people talking about the SAT?
Yes.
Okay. On the SAT, they love problems like this. That's why I'm showing these to you now. So that when you get there, you don't go, oh Lord, what am I supposed to do with this? This is what you're
I'm
supposed
gonna
to
make
do.
sure I keep this notebook.
Okay?
for math, so-
That's why I want you to do this. But here's the immediate benefit of this lesson, okay? I'm going to show you that now. And I'm going to actually make one up because I don't really like the example they gave us. Okay? And I want you to write this as a heading, even though they don't actually put this as a heading in the book. But this is going to be our little heading because this is the real reason you want to be able to do this. And then we're going to do 2 or 3 of these, and then I'm going to give you the rest of the class to work. All right? Write y as a function of x. Remember the function notation we talked about in chapter 1? Okay. So what that means, when you see write whatever variable as a function of the other variable, the first one named is the one you need to isolate. And that won't always be clear. We're going to isolate y, and then x will be the only variable on the other side. Okay, now, let me ask you, and this relates directly to the use of your calculators. If I told you to graph a line, and we'll be graphing some lines here in the next few weeks, if I told you to graph a line on your calculator, where would you go?
To the y equals.
To the y equals button, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm going to show you immediately why you want to know how to do this, okay? So my little example 1. Let's say I had 2x minus 5y equals 10. If I wanted to get a graph of this on my calculator, what's the problem?
You go y equals.
I don't have y equals, right? So that's why you want to know how to do this. So now, what are we going to make white?
Y.
Y. Because your directions will say, write y as a function of x. So we're going to isolate y.
So you divide -5.
Okay, well what's in the way of the y?
2x.
2x. And what's the 2x doing to that side? It's adding, right? But it's the whole term adding. And we're not used to thinking of that whole term as being an added, because that's usually just a number, right? But the 2x is adding.
It's right there. It's a moth.
It's a tiny little green moth. Don't hurt it.
I don't
All
like
right.
moths.
You don't like
I
moths?
don't like moths. I don't.
It's
like
like a butterfly.
I don't like butterflies either.
Who are you, Satan? Okay. It's a joke. Okay. I forget y'all are freshmen sometimes. Okay. Hello. So the 2x is adding. What is, okay, David Parrott, I want you to answer this for a reason.
Okay.
What is the -5 doing to the y?
The -5 doing the y is multiplying.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. He listened.
Yes, I wasn't sure at first, but I got it.
Very good. Fantastic. All right. So I want to get the y by itself. Yes?
It's
All right. And so by StatMet, what would be the first thing I should do?
Subtract. Or add.
Subtract what?
Uh,
Do it now. While I go get this moth before it gives Jalen a panic attack.
Aren't you nice?
Me too.
I love all God's creatures.
Even roaches?
Even students I don't want to deal with.
You like
Okay.
roaches?
They're not my favorites, but I mean.
Would you kill one if you found it in your bedroom?
Okay, can we get back to this?
No, we're sticking to the topic of roaches.
No, the topic is what I told y'all to do while I was rescuing the
You
moth.
said subtract.
Subtract
2x.
2x.
Both sides.
All right, now let me
But
ask you
you
a
can't do
question. But you can't do that. So we keep the -5y, and so I take 10 minus 2x.
2x, yeah.
Yes, that's what I did.
I think we did this.
Divide both sides by
I haven't done this.
You have
-5y.
time, right?
Just by -5, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's the answer?
And so y equals. Now, let me show you something else. I don't know whether they showed you this last year. But when you have one thing on the bottom like that, you divide each thing on the top by the thing on the bottom.
So,
No, they didn't.
Okay? So 10 divided by -5 would be what?
2.
-2.
-2.
minus 2.
Minus.
Is it minus? I have a -2 divided by, so a negative divided by a negative is going to be a
Positive.
positive 2/5 x.
Okay.
Because I can't divide 5 into 2, can I?
So it just.
No. Show okay.
So there's my y as a function of x.
Oh.
It's This right here, I'm gonna need some technical.
What?
You're gonna need some technical
I
difficulties?
mean, I'm
Alright, now I
having
need it.
technical.
Oh, okay. You're gonna need some technical assistance, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it?
No.
Y'all look completely.
Yeah, right now I'm
Yes.
at the bottom.
It's not
Flattened.
right. It's not right away when we come in that we're tired. It's like halfway through, and we're like,
I know it's hard to sit still, and I really would like to have. We're gonna work on. I'm gonna try to work on switching things around where we're not sitting so much. But right now it feels like it's.
We're gonna go
I don't know what to do.
balls.
Oh,
Well,
it
it's
is.
not
Spin
gonna
it.
happen.
Yoga balls, yeah. I could still do balls in
I can't.
Wow.
You can't put yoga balls in a room with a bunch of boys,
Nope.
cause it would turn into dodgeball.
Yes, it would. Very fast.
I was gonna say, am I not true
you're
on that?
completely right.
I'm
Okay.
not gonna throw mine.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna lay on on it with my stomach.
We can get mattresses.
yeah. Campbell take a nap on him.
He's fine. We should get beanbags.
How about
Beanbags.
5x plus 4y equals 20? If I want to write y as a function of x, what do I need to do?
Get rid of the.
Get rid of the
uh,
5x
or
because that-
well,
I have to get rid of the 5x first because it is
In the way.
in the way.
and adding, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do what to get rid of it? Subtract 5x from both sides.
From both sides.
But as Jericho said, you can't take 5x from 20.
You have an echo.
4y
So
equals 20.
You have an echo.
minus.
Oh, I see 20 minus 5 is.
You have
They
an
were
echo.
each side by 4. 2. Yeah.
Then do the whole thing.
By the time by 4 is.
Let me show you another way you can do what you know how I showed you a minute ago? Watch this trick. Instead of writing it out with the long bar, I can divide any term in an equation as long as I divide every term in the equation.
Well, that's nice.
And what's 20 divided by 4?
Five.
Plus.
Can I divide 4 into 5?
No.
Minus 5. 4.
X. Oh, but that's basically like when you just draw the line and then just put 1 4 in it. X. So you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
all you do is write it out. Okay.
What happens if you
could actually
If it, yeah, okay. Madison just asked a really good question, so let's do one of those.
do what?
What'd she say?
Yeah, where you say?
What'd you say, girl? Say.
This will be our last example.
Really?
I just did it.
Really? Why is it so cold in here today?
It's really
Divide. Wait. Subtract 12x from both sides.
12x from
Wait,
both
come on,
sides.
hold on.
So 3y equals 6.
Plus 3.
Now we have my dice.
You're gonna minus 12x.
So then it'll be 3y.
And then 3y
Divide by 3
equals
6 minus 12x.
minus 12.
And then you divide by 3.
So if I divide him by 3, I divide everybody by 3.
3y over.
Tell me what that gives me.
Everybody gets.
Y equals 2
minus
4x.
That's what happens when you can.
Oh, we can divide.
Got it.
Pretty simple.
Yes.
And if you get frustrated on the ones like the first couple we did, don't panic. I really want you to, if you don't get anything else out of this lesson, I want you to be able
Hey,
to write
good
something in
question.
function form. Yes.
What if we was trying to find X? Could we do it the same way?
Yep.
Oh, so
You just won't. But really, for our purposes, the primary reason you'll need to do this is to be able to use your calculator to graph stuff.
So wait,
So our homework.
So you'll be isolating y.
wait, so the little.
Why are you calling on Jesus?